A quiet modern kitchen stands still, yet hidden inside this tiny glass vessel, an ancient saga breathes quietly. Sunlight kisses the fragile gray-green leaves. They seem utterly ordinary, resting far from the iron and blood of the forgotten Crusades. Plunge deep into the brittle veins. Time fractures and dissolves, reversing centuries of forgotten whispers beneath a harsh sun. The warmth of the kitchen fades into roaring winds. Welcome to the rugged cliffs. Standing defiant against the endless Mediterranean Sea, untouched and wild. Here among the barren limestone, life does not ask for permission. It forces roots through the unforgiving rock, searching for a miracle. The blazing sun scorches the earth. It is a land of extreme hardship, where only the most resilient spirits survive, without shedding a tear. To survive the burning heat, the fragile leaves secrete thick oils, building an invisible shield against the fire of the ancient sky. This harsh crucible creates something profound, a potent and intoxicating fragrance, rising silently into the golden evening air, like an ancient prayer. Every microscopic hair on the surface holds immense power, a silent weapon of nature, guarding secrets of healing and survival, locked deep within. Ancient wanderers soon discovered this resilient herb. Beneath the quiet stars, they gathered the potent and wild essence for their sacred rituals. Rough hands plucking the tiny green stalks. The scent stains the skin, binding human flesh to the raw earth in a timeless embrace. The dawn of early civilization awakens. This humble survivor of the cliffs begins a long journey toward majestic temples of forgotten gods. Bundled tightly with woven grass, the herb awaits its fiery destiny, holding the raw power of coastal storms within brittle, sleeping veins. A destiny far greater than simple flavor. Before it spices the feasts, it must anoint the dying and brave across bloody lands. The wind carries the scent forward, leaving the wild cliffs behind, moving slowly toward an era of steel and profound dark shadows. In the shadow of great marble pillars, the ancient Greeks offered this herb to purify the sacred air of their grand archaic temples. Flames devour the brittle wild stalks. The hidden essential oils explode instantly, releasing a thick and intoxicating smoke into the starry twilight. They believe this fragrant, drifting cloud possessed the profound power to heal and carry mortal whispers directly to the immortal gods above. The pristine stone altars turn black, coated in layers of sacred ash, a testament to countless silent prayers, etched deep into eternity. Across the sea in ancient Egypt, this remarkable herb found a darker purpose, defying the inevitable decay of flesh inside the grand pyramids. Heavy alabaster pestles crush the leaves, extracting the pure and potent essence to bathe the hollowed royal vessels in everlasting, fragrant preservation. Within the silent and suffocating tombs, the scent of thyme stands guard, fighting against the endless march of time in absolute, lonely darkness. Microscopic drops of golden, heavy oil sink deep into the tightly woven linen, locking the pharaohs in a static sleep for thousands of years. But no empire lasts forever. The great archaic columns eventually crumble and fall, surrendering their immense and absolute power to the encroaching dust. Yet from the shattered marble ruins, the wild thyme slowly creeps back, claiming the fallen remnants of glory with its quiet, resilient green. Soon the heavy boots of Rome arrive, marching relentlessly across the known world, carrying the humble herb far beyond its warm, ancestral home. Tucked securely inside raw leather pouches, it traveled through rain and freezing mud, a bitter medicine to give courage to the weary foot soldiers. The warm coastal sun becomes a memory. Dark and unforgiving winters sweep across Europe, pulling civilization into a freezing shadow of profound, fearful isolation. Ice crystals form on the tiny leaves, a brutal test for the southern survivor, waiting for the frozen earth to thaw and breathe again. Isolated stone monasteries rise from the snow. Inside these damp and freezing walls, monks turn to ancient herbal secrets to fight the encroaching death. In the flickering candlelight of stone scriptoriums, monks meticulously copy ancient medical texts, preserving the powerful botanical secrets of the forgotten ancient world. Scratching quills map out the fragile green stems. The humble wild thyme is revered as a divine earthly gift for healing the sick. Deep within the shadowy apothecary stone vaults, bunches of thyme hang upside down, absorbing the heavy damp air, while concentrating their quiet power. A thick amber tincture absorbs the crushed leaves, transforming raw nature into medicine, a bitter yet miraculous potion to fight invisible, crawling shadows. A terrifying plague sweeps across the cobblestone streets. Fear grips the helpless cities, plunging humanity into absolute despair and unimaginable, quiet tragedy. Desperate hands stuff the dried, fragrant stalks inside the hollow leather plague masks, hoping the powerful aromatic oils will repel the deadly air. Walking like ghosts through the dense, freezing mist, the doctors breathe through thyme, relying on its chemical shield against the terrifying, unseen enemy. Burning braziers release thick clouds of thymol. The chemical vapor purifies the room, stripping the heavy, infected air of its deadly, invisible grip. As the darkest years slowly begin to fade, the resilient herb gains profound respect, evolving from a simple medicine into a symbol of courage. Soft, noble hands carefully cradle the fragrant sprig. It is no longer just medicine, but a powerful, romantic token of undeniable, pure bravery. Within the high walls of grand stone castles, heavy armor clanks in the courtyard as a massive holy war begins to summon the brave. Fine silk thread pierces the rough white cloth, stitching the shape of wild thyme, a silent prayer for protection before the bloody marching begins. Whispering their final oaths in the dim chapel, the men wear the embroidered herb, carrying the scent of home into the roaring, distant battlefield. The vibrant green stitches rest over their hearts, a fragile emblem of profound hope, standing bravely against the cold of the heavy chainmail armor. The massive wooden gates slowly creak open wide. The crusade begins its long march, taking the small, quiet herb towards the blazing desert sun. Weeks turn into grueling months of travel. The unforgiving desert landscape slowly drains their profound, absolute strength under the blazing sun. Fine yellow dust covers the white cloaks. The green embroidered thyme fades quietly into absolute pale obscurity beneath the heavy sand. The colossal ancient walls of Jerusalem loom. A terrifying clash begins, shaking the very foundation of faith with deafening steel cries. Polished iron swords reflect the cruel light. The delicate green emblem faces the ultimate test of survival in this brutal storm. The holy war descends into absolute madness. Beautiful ideals crumble quickly, falling beneath the horrific, bloody weight of unchecked human ambition. Arrows pierce the air like lethal rain. A severed thyme branch falls silently upon the red earth, losing its magical charm. Men fall heavily onto the scorching ground. The promised divine glory becomes nothing more than profound tragedy and senseless, quiet loss. Blood soaks into the thick white linen. The symbol of courage turns deeply into absolute, dark crimson, mourning the fallen brave. The roaring battle finally yields to silence. A desolate, sandy graveyard stretches endlessly toward the fading horizon, under a crying sky. A broken sword lies abandoned in dust. The delicate embroidered herb rests quietly upon the shattered armor, completely forgotten by time. The metallic scent of blood lingers heavily. A profound, bitter aroma rises slowly from the crushed leaves, carrying whispered, final prayers. A trembling hand clutches the ruined fabric. The dying knight weeps, remembering the gentle, quiet, blooming hills of his distant home. Survivors eventually march back in absolute defeat. They bring home scars, carrying deep burdens of unimaginable sorrow behind their hollow eyes. Tattered cloaks are cast into the fire. The magical protective herb burns away into absolute gray ash. ending the tragic illusion. The age of brutal holy wars ends. The world slowly recovers, learning to heal the bleeding wounds of this dark era. From the bitter ashes of war, the resilient seed quietly awakens, bringing forth a tender green shoot of profound, absolute peace. Small farming villages slowly rebuild. The humble herb spreads gracefully, covering the scarred and tired earth with a fragrant green carpet. Calloused hands crush the dried leaves. An intense and earthy aroma fills the quiet and rustic kitchen with warm, comforting promises. Bustling market squares come alive. Sacks of aromatic wild thyme stand beside exotic and colorful spices from the distant eastern lands. Heavy copper coins exchange hands. The ancient miraculous botanical protector becomes a highly valued culinary treasure for the hungry common folk. Grand royal banquets demand intense flavors. Massive iron roasting spits turn dripping heavy and rich savory fats onto the roaring open fires. Fresh thyme coats the roasting meat. The essential oils explode rapidly, locking the deep and profound flavors inside the golden searing crust. Magnificent chateaus cultivate massive formal gardens. The wild Mediterranean survivor is tamed, resting beautifully within perfectly structured borders of ultimate noble luxury. Shining silver shears snap the stem, harvesting the precious green essence to perfume the elegant royal courts of the awakening new world. Wooden ships brave the vast oceans. Humanity seeks completely new horizons, carrying the familiar and comforting scent across the terrifying dark waters. Dark wooden barrels hold the dried leaves. They endure the endless dampness, preserving a tiny fragment of home for the weary, lost sailors. The ancient herb reaches strange shores, planting deep roots in foreign soil, conquering entirely new and wild continents. With silent green, absolute resilience. Familiar green leaves meet strange winds. It adapts to the heavy rain, forging a quiet and enduring alliance with the vibrant, strange soil. Cities expand into massive concrete jungles. The connection to nature slowly fades, leaving behind a profound, cold emptiness in the modern, beating heart. Forgotten magical spells become simple recipes. Printed ink captures the herbal secrets, locking the wild and untamed spirit into perfectly measured, absolute routines. The modern culinary world awakens rapidly. The quiet, ancient survivor now faces the immense, roaring heat of grand industrial kitchens. Heavy steel blades strike the wood. The fragile stalks surrender, releasing their profound and ancient oils onto the scarred surface. Elegant dining halls replace the battlefields. The bloody history fades, becoming a pure and delicate experience of absolute refined luxury. Silver tweezers carefully place the sprig. The tiny green leaf crowns the complex and beautiful dish with quiet, absolute perfection. Vast organized fields stretch for miles. The wild coastal wanderer completely surrenders its profound, untamed freedom to the precise harvest. Sharp mechanical blades sweep the earth. The incredible, fragrant harvest moves quickly through the loud machinery without a single pause. Inside massive, cold, and sterile factories, millions of tiny leaves enter the final and absolute drying of commercial, industrial scale. The endless green river flows constantly. The ancient magical protector becomes a simple and everyday commodity, packed tightly in glass. Bright fluorescent lights illuminate the aisles. The brave crusader herb rests quietly upon the cold shelves, completely stripped of glory. Black ink prints the absolute price. The profound romantic history hides silently behind a simple label of a modern brand. Yet within the busy modern homes, the ancient spirit survives, bringing a profound and warm comfort to the gathering family. Fingers crush the familiar dry flakes. The intense hidden oils awaken quickly in the boiling water, releasing the forgotten past. A lonely chef finishes the night. The kitchen grows quiet, reflecting the immense and silent beauty of the empty space. One solitary leaf remains left behind. The incredible, epic journey rests peacefully on the cold steel, waiting for tomorrow. The modern city slowly goes dark. The wild Mediterranean soul continues its quiet and enduring watch over the sleeping world. Modern science seeks to understand the magic. The ancient miraculous healing power is finally revealed beneath absolute bright light of the microscope. Pure thymol crystallizes into perfect geometric shapes, a potent and beautiful chemical shield forged by thousands of harsh coastal summers in microscopic scale. Glass sanctuaries protect the fragile green heritage. The wild and resilient coastal wanderer finds a quiet sanctuary away from danger and endless storms. A single drop of pure water falls. The tiny, resilient green leaf drinks the heavy moisture with absolute grace, sustaining invisible life. Master perfumers carefully capture the earthy notes. The profound bitter and herbal scent blends effortlessly into deeply complex romantic fragrances for the elite. Golden drops fall into heavy crystal vials. The scent of ancient forgotten Crusades is reborn as a subtle romantic whisper on warm skin. Gentle steam carries the ancient healing vapor. The tired modern human soul breathes, finding a profound and absolute quiet peace within the mist. Invisible aromatic molecules dance through the air. The heavy and tired human lungs absorb the ancient protective botanical herbal medicine with absolute relief. Warm artisan bread rises in stone ovens. The simple, rustic, and earthy flavor transforms the humble daily bread into magic. For the morning, the golden crust shatters under the knife. The beautiful baked green herbal flakes release their comforting and familiar warm aroma into the light. Hot water pours into delicate porcelain cups. The quiet, bitter, and earthy infusion offers a gentle and profound absolute healing to the sick. Delicate green branches swirl in golden water. The tiny microscopic fragrant oil glands dissolve slowly into the warm, healing liquid, creating pure magic. Generations share the unspoken family culinary secrets. The ancient and resilient quiet knowledge passes gracefully through soft and loving hands across the years. Faded ink marks the fragile yellowed paper. A perfectly preserved flat green leaf holds the profound and beautiful absolute memory of a grandmother. Every tiny pinch carries a silent history. The journey from bloody desert sands finally ends within the warm, loving embrace of the home. The ancient and profound historical saga concludes quietly. A tiny glass jar rests beautifully upon the familiar wooden kitchen counter, bathed in sunlight. Brilliant rays of golden morning light strike the glass. The dry and fragile leaves sleep peacefully inside the absolute quiet space, completely at rest. Gentle modern hands twist the small metal lid open. The sealed aromatic protective chamber slowly releases a profound and beautiful breath into the air. Soft fingertips carefully pinch the tiny dry green flakes. The resilient wild botanical survivor waits patiently for the absolute final transformation within the heat. A heavy iron pan softly sizzles with golden butter. The beautiful rustic cooking process continues an endless and unbroken human tradition across the centuries. The crushed green leaves slowly drift into the pan. The microscopic essential aromatic oils explode beautifully into the rich melted gold, releasing pure magic. An intoxicating and warm herbal fragrance fills the room. It carries deep, profound memories, stretching far beyond the quiet modern walls into the past. Invisible, fragrant steam rises gracefully toward the ceiling lights. The ancient, protective coastal spirit dances freely through the warm indoor air, offering deep comfort. The finished dish is beautifully placed on the table. A simple and elegant meal honors the profound and bloody epic journey of a survivor. The golden roasted surface glistens under the soft light. Tiny green specks of thyme rest quietly upon the absolutely perfect crust, like precious jewels. A quiet taste brings a warm and genuine smile. The bitter and earthy flavor whispers a beautiful and profoundly ancient secret to the soul. The small metal lid is firmly screwed back on. The remaining fragile green leaves return to their quiet and peaceful slumber in the dark. The sun sets gracefully over the modern, bustling city. The quiet and familiar kitchen slowly embraces the deep and absolute shadows of the night. Pale silver moonlight touches the cold and silent glass. The humble little coastal herb stands tall as a magnificent eternal monument of human history. Next time you sprinkle this tiny and magical spice, remember the brave ancient souls who carried its profound and enduring legacy across the world.